Radio. For us, they have been indeed a lifeline in the transportation sector. We regularly traipse onto Victor's program to talk about our projects and things that we're doing, and it really has been quite helpful in ensuring that we tell the people what it is that is coming, what we're doing, and how it will impact them. So we say a big thank you to Traffic Radio for the fantastic work that you're doing. Now, Professor, you said we should discuss what Honorable Minister has said. You and I was getting my paper ready and they concluded. But, you know, the one thing we all know, the topic, like my commissioner said when he came up, is a topic that is very dear to the heart of Lagos. When we have a city that is so blessed, the worst thing that can happen is what is happening in our city now: gridlock, congestion. Lagos has potential that in no way has it been realized, because mobility is not fluid. Transportation is about mobility. It is about moving people and moving goods, and ensuring that that mobility is easy, that mobility is fluid, and it is accessible for everybody who needs to utilize it. So when we're speaking to integration, we're speaking to really and truly connectivity of every form of transportation in an effective, efficient way in all facets of transportation. Lagos is actually quite blessed. We have road, we have a lot of water that surrounds us. And hopefully the vision is to move us from the utilization of our private cars into public transportation. So from that perspective, when we look at what the minister has spoken to, which is ensuring that we have a system that is not just connected, but it affords the people that which they require to grow. And when we look at the topic that speaks to economic growth, it is when people move that they engage in enterprise, they engage in business. People have to go to work, they have to go to school, they have to go to hospitals. Everything that we do, everything that makes life move requires transportation, requires mobility, actually. And transportation is not just about mechanized transportation, it's also about non-mechanized, non-motorized transportation. So we must not in any way, shape or form disregard walking, disregard cycling. We should continue to ensure that we utilize every form of transportation. But when it comes to public transportation, that is a different kettle of fish. Public transportation only becomes efficient when we speak to mass transportation. There is no difference with having a public transportation that only carries one person to all of us putting our cars on the road. And that's why the state is being particular about developing mass transportation. And that's why, as the minister said, a lot of work that was started in that era is going to be completed in this administration. The implementation of the rail systems, the red and the blue line. Professor Badi just spoke about all of the work that went into ensuring that certain things happen. And I think there was a lot of work that was also put in place to ensure that there were agreements between Lagos State and the federal to allow the implementation of the red and the blue line that is ongoing now. That work is, I am pleased to say, bearing fruit today. So the good thing about Lagos is everybody works and you move on. Somebody else comes and takes over, and that person continues the work. And then and only then can we begin to speak to progress and to growth. I particularly liked what the minister said about educating our children so that we can have not just educated people, but educated people that understand all the nuances of transportation and indeed mobility. And I think that is an advice that we should take and take seriously, such that we will begin to inculcate the understanding of traveling on road or whatever into the generations as they come. When we see gridlock today, as much as we speak to congestion and all of that, a majority of that is caused by bad behavior on the road, or a ignorance on the road, or a lack of understanding of roadway etiquette. So if we removed all of that, when you see a downfall coming and he just stops anywhere because he can, it is not that there are no rules, it is not that there are no laws, but either he is aware or he chooses not to be aware, or he is not educated enough to understand the ramifications of what one singular action can cause. So somebody chooses to stop anywhere he chooses, and that causes gridlock and all of that, but he's done it because he's thinking, I need to pick one passenger so that my own economy can grow. But he doesn't realize that you have done that, you have caused gridlock, and your own enterprise is going to be affected in the long run. And so there is a way that we must ensure that people understand, and that's why we have last week training our drivers, let them understand. But really and truly, I love let us start to teach our children so that they know from a very young age why obeying traffic laws, obeying transportation rules and regulations are particularly important for the growth of our nation. Everybody goes on and on about how Nigeria needs to develop, Nigeria needs to grow. But the little things that we need to do to ensure that that ripple effect will actually work for us is something that we're lacking. And for me, I would say that of what the minister said, I really held on to that and it really resonated with me.